How to eat out or order takeaway sensibly. So I'm a massive encourager, if that's a word, of social occasions being included when pursuing better health. If you're someone looking for absolute peak performance and trying to get the most out of your nutrition, I think you can still include eating out in takeaways. You just might have to go to certain places. Some people might disagree that you can, unless it's like a Nando's or a Yo Sushi and all those kind of places, and that's absolutely fine. We're not looking for peak athletic performances here. We're just looking to become a little bit better than you were before. I do think it's important to still include things like eating out and takeaways, as I believe they do contribute to being healthy, because it is important to have a good social life, and that's part of being healthy overall. Like everything, there may be times that you have to say no to certain things, but hopefully you don't have to say no to the night out itself. You just might have to say no to certain things on a food or drinks menu if you choose to, as you may feel your goal is more important. I hope that makes sense and I wasn't contradicting myself, but anyway, let's get into it. So, eating out. I personally think it's a bit easier to include eating out rather than takeaways. You could arguably eat out every night, which many people do who live in cities and also places where food is so expensive. I think I've read that people in Australia every night because it's cheaper than buying food from the supermarket. I could be wrong. But anyway, you could arguably eat out every night and lose weight, and I don't think it would be overly difficult if you chose wisely. You can make sensible choices when eating out. I think it'd be more difficult if you consistently had takeaways, but we'll get into that later on. Times have changed with the restaurant industry as well. There's so much different foods to choose from rather than your usual Frankies and Bennies and your Chiquitos, if you remember those bad boys. Now you're getting different restaurants from different countries. Some of these restaurants like Wagamama's, I think, use minimal ingredients. Overall food quality is getting better as well, which likely means it's more expensive too, but you do get what you pay for. You kind of know what to expect when you go to a Wetherspoons, don't you? Compared to a Miller and Carter or a 6x Nico. Is it no mental as well? The more expensive food gets, the smaller the portions are. The problem with eating out as well is the prices. So for example, Wetherspoons do, or they did do, a 3 for £10. It's like 3 starter plates for £10, and you'd feel like an idiot not ordering the 3 and then not eating them. So that could be 1,000, 2,000 calories at your starter, just because you felt obliged to take advantage of the deal offered. So just be wary of any food offers. That's where they get you. Restaurants don't give a fuck about your goals. They just care about your money. And we've not even discussed drinks either. Booze, cocktails, all these caloric drinks. Caloric drinks all contribute towards your calories, just in case that was news to you. So when I go out and the place has got free refills like Nando's, I think I have about 5 or 6 glasses of Diet Coke. I know it's got to keep me full for a very long time, and you get your money's worth. So, takeaways. When I talk about takeaways, by the way, I'm talking chippies and Chineses and things like that. All the dense as fuck calories. So things like prawn crackers, battered fish, fried rice, kebab, pizzas, burgers, all that sort of shit. You know, like the poke bowls that you get from fucking Yo Sushi or any of that sort of shit. Some takeaways likely use the cheapest of ingredients and likely use a fuckload of oil to make whatever it is that they're cooking. Especially when pizzerias are based around doughs, which is oil and flour, or Chinese are usually made starting with a pan full of oil before they set the thing on fire. I'm sure you can scour the menu of any takeaway and you'll find a healthy choice, but who's realistically ordering a Chinese and ordering an omelette at the bottom of the menu? Not a fucking chance. Holy shit, somebody's actually ordered an omelette. The takeaway will be like, let's get rid of this omelette. Like, wait. Some fucking mug is going to order this soon. I simply wouldn't want to have a takeaway on a regular basis. The sheer amount of dense calories usually means you have a shit sleep and not feeling particularly well later on. Another big issue with takeaways now is you can order one and not even move a muscle before it gets delivered to your door. Couple that with a massive amount of calories in a short space of time, you're not going to be feeling great afterwards on the toilet. I don't mean this in a bad way, but you never really know what's actually in your food at a takeaway or how much calories are in it. You can make a decent guess at restaurants, but it's a lot more difficult with a takeaway. Years ago you'd walk to the chippy and then you'd walk back and burn a fair amount of calories. Now you burn 0 calories before it hits your door. Even though I'm on about deep fried fish and Domino's and things like that, and as much as I like to take the piss out of these takeaways that are massively healthy, there are decent alternatives. Domino's offer a decent thin crust pizza which is low in calories. It's like it's been made out of a wrap. It's that thin, but it's pretty good. There's also decent places you can order that are somewhat healthy, like sushi places, if you're into that. There just might be few and far between of them where you live. These healthy takeaways also might not be in your area. For example, am I going to trust the one and only place in Dundee that serves sushi? Probably not. But you know, Nando's, Yo Sushi, Wagamama's, all are pretty decent choices for takeouts rather than eating in. A big one in Glasgow as well is the Calorie Kitchen, it's called, for being health conscious. You can imagine the absolute whoppers that must go there though, all wearing fucking vests and fake tan. Like eating out, takeouts are definitely changing to suit more health seeking people though. So here are some tips for eating out. Before you go out, look at the menu and choose what you're going to have in advance. If the calories are on the menu, easy. If they aren't, find realistic replacements. If you're having to do this manually, try and use weights like ounces on your menu or quarter pounder burgers and all that sort of stuff. Make it easy for yourself. Look for easy wins like average bun sizes, etc. Just because the calories are on the menu doesn't mean they're accurate. You're banking on the chef cooking it to absolute perfection with the exact measurements. I've seen chefs in some of these kitchens. Do you think they give a shit about your goals? I don't think so either. The only way it would be perfect if you were at Hell's Kitchen, Gordon Ramsay shouting, it's shit, it's shit. It's fucking shit. If you think you're going to massively overeat your calories, just overestimate for those meals just to be safe. If you're ordering meat, it's likely going to be the fattiest cuts. Burger meat will likely be 20% beef, and then chicken will likely be chicken thighs. Unless it's stated on the menu, obviously. It's just because those cuts of meat are better tasting. A chicken breast is always a good alternative to fatty beef burgers. There's always a chicken option in a burger place. It's impossible that a burger place will not have it. Fill up on low-calorie drinks or water before, during and after your meal to stay as full as possible. Stop eating when you're satisfied and not bursting at the seams. Obviously easier said than done. I've heard and seen people take scales to restaurants so they can accurately weigh their food. I ain't judging, but I wouldn't be doing it. The good thing about restaurants as well is they're open to changing things to suit you, so you can swap something out for something else. So they should though, because you're giving them your money. Be realistic in your choices as well. If you're trying to lose weight, it's maybe unrealistic that you have 3 courses. If you're gaining weight, you can maybe afford to make more decadent choices. Guessing the calories in the meal is a lot better than ignoring them. Say you've put 600 calories down for your meal, but it was actually 800. You found out later from a fucking wizard or something that it was actually 800 calories. Being 200 calories off your assumption is much better than being 800 and completely ignoring it. Maybe avoid buffets. They're a literal free-for-all. Especially when you want value for money and get your money's worth. It's just a recipe for disaster. If you can, try make it occasions like once or twice a month rather than a regular occurrence. If you can do that, it means you can maybe see it as a reward and appreciate them a bit more. But as always, everyone has different circumstances. Tips for takeaways. Your food is likely going to be made with the most caloric ingredients. A large amount of calories before bed is likely going to affect your sleep as well. It's something I've noticed. In particular, I find doughy foods, thick pizzas and pies really fuck up my sleep. I try and steer clear of them at night. But for me and I was trying to lose weight, I'd actively not consider takeaways like a Chinese or a Chippy or McDonald's unless it's a legit one-off. There's just so many calories in them it's hard to quantify, but again it's up to you to decide. Unless you know for certain you've got room in your diet to allow it. I guess some people can include them depending on what calories you're on, so if you're losing weight on 2,500 calories for example, you could easily factor one in, but again each to their own. A McDonald's meal could be like 1,000 calories, which isn't too bad if you're on 2,500. In a pursuit to try and become a bit more healthy, I wouldn't make these dense takeaways a regular occurrence, more like once a month. If it's like sushi and Nando's and those kind of places that revolve around better ingredients, there's scope to include them more often. Also with takeaways as well, a good point is they likely cost the same as going out, so why not just go do that instead? Try different places, live a little. Again, maybe limit them monthly rather than a weekly occurrence. Lastly, to wrap up, what I've said is just my opinion and guidance, obviously. Do what you want with it. Also remember, you can lose weight and eat out every night. It might just be a bit more difficult for some people given the temptations on a menu. It's got to be somewhat easier cooking things yourself and knowing exactly what's in your food. That's the point I'm trying to make. Also, what you might decide is that the celebration or occasion might be much more important than being a few hundred calories over for your day. Memories are going to last longer than being 200 calories over your target at the end of the day. If some hot date asks you out, and are you going to say, no thanks, I can't track my calories here? Are you fucked? Same as work as well. Your boss wants to take you out for lunch. Are you going to sack that off? Unlikely. Some things are more important. Any damage calorie-wise can be clawed back with a few extra days of dieting. It's a constant, consistent, massive takeaways that have issues. Takeaways generally are not associated with eating sensibly, basically. Here are some quick tips. Eating out is fucking expensive. It is here anyway. That money could go towards a weekly food shop full of single ingredient foods. Why not try and replicate what you want to order at a takeaway or restaurant in your house? Just don't call it a fakeaway, because if you call it that, you're a fucking loser. Drinks also include calories. Crazy I have to say this, but you'd be surprised at the amount of people who don't know this. More often than not, the occasion could be more important than the calories. Enjoy the company and get back on track the next game day. Balance the books by either taking calories from the day before or maybe making up for it a few days later if you're happy to do so. Go a longer walk the next game day, things like that. I remember I went out to, I think it was Brewdog, and I ordered what I thought was a chicken burger, but I thought it was just going to be a chicken breast burger, but it came out battered, so it was obviously deep fried, and I thought, fuck, that's going to be a lot of calories. What I ended up doing is walking home that night in Glasgow just to try and offset that, and things were fine. I did not die, especially walking to Maryhill. Anyway, that's us done. I will see you in the next video.